Hi guys, assalamu alaikum, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is on newborn baby hacks. So these are just little things that I found really helped me at the beginning and little tips and tricks that I found along the way. So hopefully they'll help you, inshallah. If you haven't done so already, please do like, comment and subscribe on my videos, and yeah, check out my other videos. I do like baby videos and some Islamic ones. Yeah, so let's get started. Number one, nappy explosions. So I had loads of these at the beginning. So I, over time, found out ways to prevent them riding up the top and through the clothes and onto everything. I once touched his back and it was all sticky and I was like, what is that? And it was poo. What you need to do is fill out the nappy, make sure the front is tucked in, so if there's any wee leakies, it's soaked into the nappy and it doesn't soak up into the clothes. And in the back as well, if you fold the back flaps in, it really helps prevent the poo from going up. It just keeps it down and in the nappy. And especially if you are exclusively breastfeeding, your baby's nappy will be so wet. It won't be like hard poo, it will just be really soft. Sorry, it will just be really soft and watery. Yahya is awake, so we might hear him. Another nappy explosion hack is a lot of the vests have those little things on the side, and what you can do is pull them down the baby instead of pulling it, all the poo and the mess, over the baby's head. Very talkative today. So you can just pull them down over the baby instead of pulling it over their head and all the poop getting stuck everywhere. We sometimes have to give them a bath because it's so bad, but now, alhamdulillah, it's not too bad. Number two is a crying baby. Everybody will have a crying baby. A crying baby is their way of communicating with you. Do not take it for your baby being spoiled or like being really needy. But yeah, below 6 months, they can't tell you what's wrong. So their way of telling you what's wrong is by crying. That's how they communicate. So make sure their nappy's not wet or dirty. Make sure they haven't got any wind. If they're just crying and they want a cuddle, give them a cuddle. They just want to be held. They might also be really hot or really cold, so try and gauge their temperature. He might also be hungry. Babies feed every 2 to 3 hours if he's exclusively breastfed. Sometimes with me as well, it is every like 1.5 hours, every 2 hours. It is all the time. So don't feel as though, no, at 2 hours I need to feed him, or at 3 hours I need to feed him. When your baby's hungry, just feed them. If they're crying, don't let them suffer. Just give them some milk. If you let your baby cry for too long, yeah, they're 10 times more likely to suffer from ADHD and have problems at school, rebelling and things like that. So just make sure that you're always tentative and there for them when they're crying, and try and figure out what's wrong. If you let them cry excessively, there are risks of brain damage. They have less oxygen getting to their brain. They can choke. There's so many things. So just make sure your baby is nice and calm. Even if Yahya is crying when we're changing his nappy, he's half naked, we will still pick him up and soothe him, calm him down before we put him down and finish the job. There's no point in just quickly trying to do everything while they're screaming their head off. Number three is what boob you last fed on. A good trick for this is using a rubber band. I used an app on my phone called the Awesome Baby app. On here you can see I used it ages ago, but you can choose which boob it was, how long it was, blah blah blah. It's really good for the first few months, so I definitely recommend having this. However, now I don't feel like I need it as much. I can feel it. You can, after a few months, you'll be able to feel which one's more heavier or which one's got the most milk in there. So I just go by that. If they're having 5 to 6 wet nappies a day, then you're doing a great job. It's absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. Just make sure they're feeding every 2 to 3 hours. If they're not having that many wet nappies, then you need to contact the doctor. I was finding that Yahya wasn't pooing enough, and apparently that's very normal for exclusively fed babies. So don't worry about that. Hack number 4 is using a big Swaddle as a nursing cover. So I was using my big Swaddles as a nursing cover, just wrapping them around me. However, now I have been, because I don't like the nursing material that you can get. He's loving this. The nursing material you can get. So I did find this, I think it's Mama Moosh do these really nice nursing covers. So this is the Mama Moosh one that I got. It's literally like this, and you just pop it over your head, and it's got a nice little thing so you can see your baby and your baby can look at you. That is such a key for making sure that you're looking at your baby when you're feeding. It's so important for bonding. Anyway, I got this in black. I think they are quite expensive. They're about £40, but I'll put the link down below. Number 5 is winding. Make sure that you try and get the wind out of your baby when they are finished feeding. They might have a feed, then have a break, wind them, then feed again. You can figure out what works for your babies, but there's so many different positions you can do. You can rub their back gently in an anti-clockwise position. You can pat them on the back, put them on the side, lay them down. There's so many different positions that you can do. Just find out what works best for you and your baby. So different massages that you can do. So you can do this moon and the star. You can pull their legs forward and backwards. There's loads of different methods. Do look on YouTube or on Google for different ways of massaging your baby to relieve wind. I do use Infocol. I sort of use it less now because he's kind of getting used to how to burp, but I still use Infocol to make sure that it breaks down the bubbles in his tummy, so it's easier for him to bring it out. When your baby is first born, they will do the worst poo ever. A lot of people say that you can put, it's called meconium, but a lot of people say you can put Vaseline on their bottom before they do the poo, and it's just easier to wipe off. Vaseline is petroleum, so I think the best thing to do is use olive oil. We didn't do that, but because he did a poo as soon as he came out, so it was fine, and his next poos weren't that bad. But you can put olive oil on his bottom, or his or hers bottom, and it will just really gently come off the baby's bum. And we use wet wipes, which are so good. I can't go on about them enough. Midwife approved, so do take a pack with you to the hospital. Is swaddling your baby is so important at the beginning, because they are supposed to be in the belly for 9 months, but the next 3 months is called the 4th trimester for a reason, because they are supposed to feel incubated and like they're back in the womb. So I found that swaddling Yahya was so, and I mean he still swaddles now, but swaddling him was so important for the first few months. Helped him sleep, helped him feel comfortable and cozy, and just we did it day and night in the first few weeks because he was just so small and he loved it and he just slept like a dream. So definitely do swaddle him. I'll put a little video in on how I swaddle Yahya because it is a very tight method that my mum taught me. Once you have the swaddle in place with the top section down, make sure you put baby's arm straight down on its left side and take the swaddle over and under. Leave the right arm free and then pop that over the swaddle that you've just done and take the right side and roll it all the way under baby's bottom. Make sure you got a nice long piece that you can work with and baby is nice and tight. With the bottom part, make sure that's nice and long, and what you want to do is grab that from the bottom of your hand, wrap it around their feet and take the other piece that you've brought and do a little knot. Make sure it's not too tight around the feet. You want to still make sure that the baby can move its hips up and down and kick its legs straight down so that it is nice and cozy. Number 8 is a baby outfit roll. So I did do this in my other video for changing bags, my nappy bag. Do have a look at that, but doing a roll is so important. If you're traveling somewhere or going anywhere, you just have one little tiny roll and it's got a whole outfit for your baby ready to go, because you will have to change his clothes. If you go out somewhere, he might get something messy or it'll just be a bit dirty. So having that little roll, nice, tidy, neat in your bag does the trick. And number 9 baby hack is trying to get them to nod off. You'll have that moment where your baby is half asleep, half awake, and he's just so tired, but you can't put him to bed. I find by just getting your thumb or the end of your finger and just rolling down his nose, just really slowly in these slow movements, helps them not nod off really, really quickly. I do it to Yaya all the time and it really works. And number 10 is having a downstairs baby changing unit. So important for the first few weeks because you will be in a lot of pain. You won't want to go up and down the stairs. I know I didn't. And I turned our kitchen trolley into a baby changing unit. So I just put a baby changing mat on there and some other items so that I could just clean him while I'm downstairs in the day. Don't stay upstairs in your room for the first few weeks. It will drive you crazy. Go downstairs, feel normal, walk around, and inshallah everything will be fine. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been very helpful, inshallah, and I will see you guys very soon. Please do subscribe, comment and like. Bye!